Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the FearFans podcast. I'm your host, Don Elmy, and with me is my co-host, Nick Millet. And yes, we got started a few minutes late. We had some technical difficulties, but yeah, glad to. So, yeah, we're glad to get that fixed. And tonight, we are finally delivering what several people have been requesting, and it is for us to cover the 1988 remake of The Blob.
That's right. A classic one indeed.
Oh, yes. I remember first seeing. I actually saw both versions, like when I was a teenager, both at the same time. They were both appeared on. What was it? Like Comcast on demand on web back at this back on this network called FearNet. Yeah, back when that was still
Oh,
a thing.
Fear
But
Nuts. I
I
miss
remember,
Fear Nut.
I remember it, and they had both versions playing because it was like the anniversary. It was 2008. It was the 50th anniversary of the original film from 1958, and the let's see,
Then
the
20th.
20th anniversary of the remake.
Hey, looks like some of your subscribers are on right now. What's up, Billy? Good to see
Hey,
you.
thank you for joining us, Billy. Hey, Mr. Nick.
Yes. And also, Happy New Year, everyone.
Yes, Happy New Year. Yeah, that's right. Friend, this is the first podcast of this year, and what a movie to start off with. I remember Fear Net. Yes, I remember. I've watched quite a bit of that during high school, Billy, and it just went under. Yeah,
It's just that kind of thing, as I would probably put it, is, because since this was during our high school years, that's definitely a good example of those were the days, weren't they? Especially with Fear Nut.
oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
Jeremy.
we're doing fine now, Jeremy.
Oh yeah, we corrected the error. So yeah, we had to start off a few minutes late because of technical difficulties. But
It
yeah, we're
turned out that the poster you see behind us it overlapped our cameras, so that's why we couldn't see each other on screen. But we got it figured out.
oh yeah, it's figured, it's fixed. Oh, here, Billy's saying Comcast on demand was long before streaming services.
You're right, Billy.
Yep, that's very true. That's like what replaced Blockbuster for me back when that was still a thing as well.
Yep,
Man, how times have changed.
indeed.
They just
I
keep
wish
on.
things could go back to the way things were.
Uh, well, I mean, technology has made things more convenient. Now I can watch movies and shows on my phone.
Yeah, well, not necessarily the technology, just certain things.
Oh yeah, there are some things I wish were still around. Yeah, Jeremy's saying weird.
Yeah.
I don't know, streaming can be weird. But so in the both versions of the Blob had a very powerful metaphor behind it. This was obviously both films were taking place during the Cold War, back when tension between America and Russia was at an all-time high, and America was fearing the spread of communism, and so they decided to create a movie that focused on that fear, whereby creating a monster that just grows and grows with each person that it absorbs, because communism was doing that in a way back then, where it was like taking away individuality, making you like part of a whole of something malicious. And that's
Right.
yeah, from America's point of view. And so Don and Nick, have you seen a particular horror movie? Oh, Megan, yeah, I want to see that. I hear it might be just decent, but
Is it that doll movie or whatever it was that came out?
yep.
Okay, I kind of figured that was I've seen the ads for it on YouTube. But yeah, I haven't seen that movie yet. But you know, yeah, one of these days we're gonna have to plan meet up to go see it.
For sure. And yeah, it's for as far as I know, it's one of those stories about AI gone awry because Megan decides to take her commands, her her mission to protect her best friend like way too seriously.
Oh boy, that
Yeah,
might be something Jeremy would probably like since he likes dolls a lot and clowns.
yep.
Just
It's
a word of note.
yeah. I mean, it starts off with an AI controlled doll becoming intelligent. The next thing you know, we got Skynet taking
Hey,
over.
what's up, Sarah? Good to see you.
It's Megan. Yep, with the three. Yeah.
What's with the three? I don't get it.
It's part of the abbreviation that Megan stands for. I'm trying to remember. I know what it is. I'm trying to remember where I read that at. But yeah, I got to double check that. She has a creepy face. Yep, and the way they did it, when they had like little actresses wearing masks to make it look to give it a more robotic look.
See, I wasn't surprised with Jerry say he definitely wants to see Megan. It's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's definitely what we're saying. But so as far as the blob, like I said, it represents America's like fear about communist spreading, because the blob, it absorbs everyone and every living thing it comes in contact with, becomes this gigantic red mass, and is just growing out of control. And that's pretty much how America had viewed the communist Russia back then.
Right.
Yes.
And it does make perfect sense, when it comes to, such situations like that with all these different mergers that were going on at the time. And it's
Yep.
just interesting to kind of look at it in a way where it, oh man, what's the word I'm looking for? Basically use it almost like a primary example, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, that's right. And I like how the original one start. Oh,
Clever propaganda, but less fun.
Yeah, my cousin, like one of my cousins, like back then, made a joke about this film, like saying, "What's so scary about the original version of the film, '58 version?" Like saying, "What's so scary about Killer Jello?"
I mean, we don't know for sure if it is Jello anyway. I mean, it's just like, it is gelatin, but we really don't know exactly like what this stuff really is.
It's a gelatinous life form from space, at least in the original.
Well, no, I mean like the original like material of it itself. So, but yeah, it is a gelatinous like substance.
Oh yeah, and I like how in the original one it had Steve McQueen as like the lead. His first leading role in a movie. So
Yep.
yeah, it has that.
Oh, what's this? Sorry, I was clicking. Notice on the notifications that you did a reaction to Red versus Blue and it got blocked.
I was afraid of that. Yeah, like there's this series called Red versus Blue that I wanted to start reacting to, and yeah, it's a very funny series. I'm disappointed it got blocked.
Oh, happens sometimes, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was trying something different, but then yeah, I don't know what to do. But but I'll worry about that later. So the remake of this 30 years later, it like went above and beyond with not only with its metaphor, its Cold War era metaphor, but also with the special effects and also the gory and graphic deaths in this film. Like, because they were able to do so much more with this now with 80s effects.
Yeah, they definitely did. And like, see, I haven't really seen much of the original Blob. I've seen some parts of it, but if I recall, in the original one, you really never saw, people being consumed by this creature. In the remake, you definitely do see it, and it's quite a gruesome end, to anybody that comes in contact with it.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, it really creates that whole effect of people being chemically dissolved inside this gelatinous mass. And it's
Which means it probably has some type of probably some substance similar to acid, because it dissolves very quickly and virtually leaves no evidence. So it might have some acidic substance to it.
That's what my guess is. And yeah, they really went all out to make the effects the deaths as gruesome as possible. Oh yeah. Man. Yeah, like just like in the remake of The Thing, the special effects are like one of the major driving points of the film, like one of the major improvements made over the original.
Right.
Oh yeah, this movie. Oh yes, I was getting to that, Billy.
Oh yes, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, this serves as an early role for Shawnee Smith. She played Meg in this film, like it was the leading female role. And yeah, she is known today for her part as Amanda in the Saw movies.
That's right. Hey, what's going on, Brad? Good to see you. Just popping in to say hi. No need to hear the commentary on the documentary of my ex. I lived through it.
Again with this.
Hey, Brad. You should know by now, Don. If I'm going to be chemically dissolved, I'm going to stick to Cheetos and Doritos.
Oh my oh
Oh,
man.
back to work. Good seeing you, Brad.
Yep. Yeah, nice having you on as always, Brad. But yeah. So I was saying after tonight.
Yeah, you as well.
You as well. Yes. So the blob, so this thing is a gelatinous life form that it seems invulnerable to just about everything you kind of hit it with. Like it, like you could shoot it and it just absorbs the bullets. You could try hitting it with something and it does nothing. You know, it just that's exactly why they wanted to depict it, because they saw communist Russia as like a nearly unstoppable force, and that's how they wanted to depict the blob as.
Right. Well, you have to kind of think, especially with this blob creature. Put it this way, I mean, the closest thing that makes, well, if you think about it too, because it's like you're dealing with a monster that is overall based kind of not exactly, but kind of has the structure like that to a jellyfish. It's got no brain, it's got no heart, it's got no real stomach, it's got no real weak spots or certain areas that are sensitive. It's got no bones or structures. So with something like that, it's just very much like a jellyfish. So for something like this that doesn't have any bones or internal organs or weak areas or sensitive areas, there's no way, there's no part of it that you can, that it is vulnerable to. And more important, in other words, without any of those things, it's impossible to destroy, because it's just that kind of thing. It's among really that type of monster that you could base. It's like you could shoot it as many times as you want. You could stab it. You can cut it into pieces. But no matter what you do, it's that kind of thing where it's like it's gonna get up and keep going on what it's doing until it can't do it anymore.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, you could like shoot it at just about every bullet you could possibly get at this thing. Like you could have this unlimited ammo feature on your gun. Like that's ever going to be a thing. But and even that's not enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why, like with such, a substance like that, it's impossible to destroy something like that.
Oh yeah, Sarah saying how many movies from the 50s and 60s are solved by freezing? Yeah, I was gonna get to that, but yeah, the Blob has only one no thing that could stop it. It won't kill it; it'll just stop it, and that is by freezing it.
Yeah, it's like just for the most part, really immobilizing it.
Oh, Jill!
Jill, what's up, Jill?
Hi, Jill.
Hi.
Hey, thank you for joining us.
Where's Nick?
I'm here. What I'm doing it, Don, I forgot to. It's actually something I'm downloading right now, and I don't want to make it look like I'm not focusing, so I've just turn off the camera for now. But it's almost done downloading, so it's files that I'm putting together. It's files for my audiobooks that I'm trying to transfer, and I've been meaning to do this for weeks, so I could still do this though.
Okay. Let's see.
I thought maybe your OBS isn't working.
No, I still have OBS, although I'm still setting it up on my laptop, so it's not yet complete.
I see. No, just do what you have to do, man.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. So, yeah, Jill, when did you first see the Blob?
What year did it come out? Because
1988.
Okay. I'm sure I probably saw it when it came out. My mom didn't really mind me picking horror movies. I mean, 5 years old, I'm already watching horror movies. So, every time we went to the it's like a Blockbuster, but it's like on the base. Then she would get like 6 movies, and she's like, okay, you get two to me and my brother. And I'm like, he's getting, kid movies or whatever, just action movies or whatever. And my mom would get her movies, like romance or comedy. And I would run up with like Nightmare on Elm Street or something. So, you know what I mean? I'd be like, can I please watch this? So yeah, I'm sure that I watched it probably in the 80s. I had to have seen it when it first came out.
Oh, that's awesome. You said 5 years old? Yeah, 5 years old was when I first saw this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Did you know it was going to be that scary?
Yeah, and yeah, and you also mentioned Nightmare on Elm Street. Well, it might interest you that the director of Nightmare on Elm Street. Oh, hey Nick.
Yep, I'm here now.
Yep,
It's finally done.
all right.
So that was quite a journey I had to take care of.
So I was saying that the director of Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Chuck Russell, directed this. Yep, and
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yep, Nightmare on Elm Street.
I believe it.
No, Nightmare on Elm Street 3, yes, and
the 3. Okay.
Yep, yeah, Chuck Russell. And Chuck Russell, one of the other major films that I know of that he made was The Mask, the Jim Carrey film.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So he went from directing the third Freddy Krueger film to this, and then crazy Jim Carrey flick.
Well, that's talent when you can kind of be versatile, you know?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. And also he wrote this alongside with Frank Darabont. And if you're familiar with some Stephen King movies, then chances are you've heard that name. Because Frank Darabont had wrote and directed Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile, and let's see, The Mist. And also he has worked as a creator for the hit AMC series, The Walking Dead.
I was about to get to saying about Walking Dead. You don't want to forget about that one.
That's a nice list.
Oh, yeah. The man has done great work.
I love pretty much all of those. I can't really, let me think of anything that I didn't like on that list.
But I will say this, I don't want to see The Mist ever again because of, oh my God, mostly because of that ending. That ending was like way too upsetting for me.
Yeah.
Like this man has, Thomas Jane's character was forced to kill his son and everyone and several others around him, his remaining survivors, and he comes out of that car to like fit into the mist, so waiting for the monsters to kill him, only to see that the mist has cleared up and help has arrived. All he had to do was wait 2 minutes.
I know. That ending.
2 minutes and everything would have been fine. So he basically killed the people he loved for nothing.
It was so sad.
That's why I can't see that movie again. It's been 15 years. Half my life. Yep, half my life. Half my life. I don't want to see it again.
Oh my goodness.
Very synonymous with Stephen King.
You have to love like the monster scenes.
Oh yeah,
the monster scenes were awesome.
Well, yes, The Mist did have some great things going for it, such as like the monsters and also characters for the most part, with one exception. You probably know what I'm talking about now.
I already know.
Every time I heard her speak, I wanted to run up to the screen and start punching holes in it.
We actually watched a clip of that in my television class back in high school.
Oh,
what?
Yeah, true story.
Which clip?
It was when they whoever that guy was, the guy from the military. They stabbed him and they threw him out of the building.
Oh,
that scene. Yeah, we were watching a clip of that. That I can't help but I look back now. I'm like, oh man. At that time, that movie was still relatively brand new. I think it was like 2 years old at the time. This was like 2009 when we watched it. So it's kind of amazing how fast time has gone by. One thing I know, it's just like 2 years old now. All of a sudden, it's over 15 years ago.
Oh yeah, but both that character and that ending are the two reasons why I don't want to see The Mist ever again. It's been, like I said, it's been 15 years since I saw it in theaters back in 2007, and yeah, no, not again.
That's how I feel sometimes on a certain movie. You're watching it through. I try to watch movies where I just know the title because I just saw the title, and I try not to know too much about it so that way I can get a good feel of it. Like just kind of take it in, see what happens. Like the mystery of the movie. If I don't know too much about it, like no spoilers, right? So you try to watch the movie and then you watch it all the way through. You spend all your 2 hours or however long the movie is committed to it. And then it's like the ending is like, no, what? And then it just leaves you so disappointed. And you're like, I just wasted 2 hours of my life right now.
Oh, man.
See, Jeremy could beg to differ with that movie, The Mist.
Here, I just got to answer something real quick.
So Jeremy actually had a question once you're done.
Okay.
And this is obviously back to the remake of the Blob. How did it get? How big did it get? Could you send it back to space?
I don't see how you could have.
From what I gather, I mean, was it even from space, or did they create it out in space?
Well, in the original version, in the 58 version, yes, it was from space. Came
It's an extraterrestrial monster
from a meteor. It just appeared. Like nobody knows where it came from.
Other than we know the fact that it's alien. That's basically all you. That's basically all you know in the original film.
Okay.
Yeah, it's extraterrestrial in origin, the original, but you don't know anything else, like where it actually came from. Is it from a galaxy or another planet? You just know that it's from outer space.
Just this mysterious, like substance. I don't even know what to call it, because it's like you almost need to have a word for it. That's just gross.
Well, when you think about it too, it would kind of make sense, the original one where they made it extraterrestrial, because you have to remember this was the 1950s, so there were a lot of alien movies that came out. Any monster that you could really, or creature you could really think of for making a particular horror film for that time, they always had to do their best to make it from outer space.
That's right. And but in this version, they took things to a whole different level, relating to the Cold War that was going on. This was 1988, around
1988,
around the time when it was starting to come to a close. I mean, they didn't know that.
It was 1991, I think, that it ended.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, and so they decided to throw in this story, part of the story where the Blob wasn't from space. It was actually a government-made bioweapon, that was created through radiation. I think they mutated an amoeba, because that's what I believe it is. Because this Blob seemed to behave more like some sort of amoeba. Yeah,
right.
And so, and that makes me. I'm thinking, this was a government experiment going horribly wrong in this version. I'm just like, wow, they even that kind of seemed plausible, with everything that been going on back then.
It kind of reminds me of Splice, where they take these scientists that are given grants or funding to come up with some new thing that they need, like a plan, but then it kind of goes awry and doesn't go in their favor.
Exactly.
for humankind.
I remember that movie.
I've only seen parts of that one. I think it was really for more of documentaries, but I do know what that movie Splice is.
Oh yeah. And what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, this movie features let's see. Kevin Dillon, brother of actor Matt Dillon. He plays what was the lead role, kind of like how Steve McQueen did, but his character has a different name, Brian Flagg. And his character was also very, very different, because he was actually this rebel, riding a motorcycle, leather jacket and whatnot. Also has the long hair.
Just basically your typical 80s teenager look.
You're a bad boy that all the girls are attracted to. For whatever reason.
Don't see that anymore.
For what the cheerleader is into, but her dad told her no.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and Meg, played by Shawnee Smith, she was great with that role. And then I think that's also one of the ways that this the characters improved over the original, is that they introduced the girl as a leading, a female, a strong female lead, as fighting back at the Blob, because it wasn't like that in the original version back in the 50s, where strong female leads in horror films weren't very exactly were not exactly a thing back then.
Yeah, it wasn't common yet. She was kind of badass in there for a minute. I'm like, where'd she get her training with guns? I had to kind of learn how to hold a gun and how to even use it.
They always make it look easy in movies.
She just picked it up from the guy and was like, let me have it. Bought it.
And some of the earliest examples I can think of as far as strong female leads in horror films is, let's see, in Dawn of the Dead, Fran, the news reporter, she basically stepped up to the plate saying, hey, look, I want to know what's going on with the group. I want to in on the decisions. And also I don't want to be left behind without a gun again. Yeah. That, along with Sigourney Weaver's character, Ripley in Alien.
Yeah, that's who I was thinking of. the first person because she's always like the lead. You figure out later why, but it's like that even in that first Alien, it's like her character is just a survivor.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, like Alien, my all-time favorite horror film. Cannot wait to cover that one on the podcast.
Oh, that'll be fun.
That's gonna be one that I can already see. I think we're gonna get a whole bunch of people for that one. I mean,
There's got to be a lot of people into Alien.
That's gonna be. Wait, there was a Blob movie in 1972.
Yes,
another version.
Yes, there was. Only it was meant to be like somewhat of a sequel to the '58 film. It was called Beware the Blob, also known as Son of the Blob. I've seen it and I was disappointed.
Son of the.
I have not seen
to figure
it.
out how on earth could it be a son?
And because some idiot decided it was a good idea to take a piece of it from the Arctic after they froze it and bring it back home.
Oh, well, it was like, that's kind of an offspring.
It was like, look at the pretty gems. Oh, I know it came from that creature that's devouring the whole town. Let me just keep a piece of it.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I still don't know where the son comes from. This son of the Blob comes from, because this creature is neither male nor female. How do you know if it's even male?
Where's the mama Blob?
Hermaphroditic.
It goes back and forth. Mama, daddy.
Technically, it isn't like an offspring of it. It's just a piece of it that was severed and then just grew.
It's like,
if anything, it's a clone.
If anything, it's producing or honestly,
clone of the Blob.
Exactly. Well, I was going to say it basically produces asexually. It doesn't have a mate, obviously.
It didn't technically reproduce. They just took a piece of it. So that's why they didn't go with Son of the Blob. Because
that's why I thought
it wouldn't make sense with the son, like you said. So they had to go with what was it titled in the end?
Beware the Blob.
Beware the Blob.
Beware the Blob. Okay.
And
1 second,
because
I'll be right back.
Yeah, because Son of the Blob would have been inaccurate.
It wouldn't make much sense, to be honest.
Oh, yeah, she'll be back in a minute.
Yep.
So
I also sent a link to Adrian. I know you sent it, but I sent it to her personal chat, so she might be coming on.
Yeah, she can join when she wants to.
God forbid they make people remember their high school biology class.
Oh man, and hey Joe.
Okay, sorry.
You're back already. Wow.
I got my dinner.
Oh, of course.
It was an emergency. I had to open the door.
All good. I wanted to go and talk about how there were lots of similarities between the original and the remake, as far as like how the story went. Like it started off with both of them started with a meteor crashing. An old hermit goes in to investigate it, and ends up having his hand consumed by the blob. And oh man, and that's just the beginning of it all. And
quite a gruesome start.
Yeah, and of course they had to make it more graphic. I mean, and like it lets you know right off the bat, this movie means business, because at first he tries to like amputate his own hand, like, and then it just covers that, and then when they get into the hospital, and then a little while later, like half his body's completely dissolved. Like I don't know why the blob didn't finish consuming him. Maybe it sensed that it was discovered when Paul was in the room, I guess.
Maybe.
Yeah, and then then Paul's death. That lets you know that nobody is safe in this film, because you would think that because Paul is the boyfriend of like the main lead female with Meg, that everything is that he's gonna be the hero in this. Yeah, I mean this movie lets you know no one's safe,
and it doesn't seem to show any type of what am I thinking of? It doesn't have particular choices. It will find it. It will devour anything that it finds.
That's right.
Did it take any animals? Because I think it only ate people, right?
In Beware of the Blob, it ate a kitten.
Okay, because I was gonna say it should eat anything in its path that's an organism, because it would be something that it can consume.
Yeah.
So but it seems intelligent enough to know the difference between, chase the girl down the alley, out the window, you know what I mean? Like to attack her, or go after the kids in the sewer. Like it seems intelligent enough to do all those things, or like devade the scientists and the military and everything, so it doesn't get captured. But at the same time, it's like this gelatin. It's like, where's its brain? I don't know.
That's what I was saying earlier. It doesn't have any of that.
Okay, which one was where the blob covered a guy and a woman tried to pull him out and ended up ripping part of his arm? Yep, that was this version. That was
Yep.
How was this version? Was that the kitchen?
No, that wasn't
the 1988, the remake.
No, it wasn't the kitchen. It was at the hospital right after the blob had killed the hermit.
Okay, yeah.
And then it was killing Paul. And right when you see the arm ripped off and his face like dissolving like that, like this movie looks.
Oh gosh, that was such a horrible scene.
I like this. It's always with the hermits.
Yeah. This movie, like, really, that's the part that really set the tone for this film. That this is like going to be going above.
I was like, how are they going to top that kill? Like, spoke too soon.
Like that's where it really shows you what the full potential of the special effects in this film. Like they really did. That's one of the things I was impressed the most by was the effects that brought this crew, the blob, to life, and also created these horrific scenes.
And all throughout most of the time, I mean, when you think about it too, I mean, yes, I'm sure some scenes were used for this, but a lot of those horrific death moments, I don't even think that was CGI they were using.
No.
They did use a bit of CGI, but for the most part, they relied on practical effects.
Yeah, that's what I found more impressive. I mean, in my opinion, that was some of the best stuff I've seen without the use of CGI.
I'm thinking they use some kind of robotics on some things because, it looks puppeted somehow.
Right.
But like the one where it's the blob on the ceiling, like to me, that was really gruesome.
Yeah.
The man on the ceiling, like his whole skull.
Oh, that movie theaters.
Movie theater. Yeah. Yep. Like.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
They also took that from the original, the movie theater scene. Only this time, unlike the original, like in the original, it didn't show the blob like killing all the people. But here, we get to see what goes on inside the theater.
That's right.
Yep.
It's one of those classic examples where you like in the original films, everything happened behind closed doors. But now, in the remake, now we do see what goes on.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
hey, Angelo from the Philippines. Good to see you.
Hey, thank you for joining us. Glad you could join us on this. Yeah, we're discussing one of my favorite horror remakes. Last time we looked over my favorite horror remake and one of my all-time favorite horror films, The Thing. But now we're focusing on another 80s horror remake, The Blob.
Guys, I just found this on I was just looking it up. Hopefully you guys will be able to see this on the screen. But this just popped up. It's the Blob versus The Thing 1982 ripoff.
Oh.
That was literally the first image that just showed up. I was looking for something else about that film, but that just showed up first.
Oh. Yeah, and that theater scene was gruesome, but the one kill that shocked me the most in this film was the death of Eddie. He was
oh my gosh,
one of the two. You remember there were two boys. One of them was Meg's brother, Kevin. And Kevin has a friend named Eddie, but who helped him sneak into the movie theater to see a slasher flick.
Yeah, his brother's the usher.
Yeah, because Eddie's brother's the usher. Yeah, so it's like Eddie. It's like if your brother got caught, I'm pretty sure he's gonna lose his job. But anyway, yeah, like that was like gruesome because again another example of how in this film like nobody's safe because this thing was able to kill a kid and this thing will target anybody. And my God, that kid how old did that kid look to you, Nick? Like 11, probably 12 years old.
Yeah,
maybe
it's
even
to show
10.
that this creature is merciless. In other words, that's what I was trying to think of earlier. It's just this merciless creature.
Oh yeah. Oh, here.
Oh yeah, I was clicking.
Well, kind of shocked me because a kid. This one of the few horror movies I've watched where I killed a kid. Yes, they do that to create shock that to really add to the shock factor. But
yep.
Yeah, they try to keep. They did show that they did keep it pretty brief though, compared to like other kills in the film.
Right.
Yeah, and a lot of people keep saying like, oh, like the death of a kid, and like this is like it's going too far. No, you know what I would think we would be going too far is if death of kids were depicted in like video games.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
yes.
No, I can't even picture that because I always tell people, you notice how in the Grand Theft Auto games there are no kids in the game,
No, there's not.
all adults. In like the fifth game, which looks like which is basically a ripoff of like the city's like a ripoff of LA, Los Santos.
Yeah.
All adults, no kids around. Yeah, like good God, I don't even want to picture that.
I don't blame you for it.
So that I think would be crossing the line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can all agree to that. So yeah, like it's like every once in a while in horror films, like it's shocking, but it could be worse, a lot worse.
Right.
At least it wasn't like a carnival because there'd be like tons of
My
kids.
gosh, that would be horrible. That would be like a whole. It would not even just be a massacre. That'd be like a whole buffet. Oh my gosh.
I mean, it shows that even though we have some shocking things in the entertainment world, at least we still have limitations. We restrain ourselves on certain things.
Well, with some of the movies we have nowadays, not all the time, unfortunately. Now we're starting to see more of that in certain films, and you know which movies I'm talking about, Don.
Oh God, yeah,
like the remake of Stephen King's Ed. You know that.
Oh
yeah. So unfortunately, the reality is we are starting to see more of that.
That's right, and the reason why that was shown in the film Georgie's death is because that's what was shown in the book. The first victim that Pennywise had taken. Yeah, but
exactly.
Only in this new version they made it more like the book, actually showing the arm ripped off. The only difference is the body was not found.
Yeah.
Well, you kind of expect it with like Boogie Monster type monster films because they do come after the kids, like the Tooth Fairy.
Oh yeah,
or just some of these other mythical creatures, or even La Llorona. It's like they're purposely attacking little kids in some of these horrors, but it's like you're geared up for that. You already know, you're kind of expecting it's going to be like that. But with the Blob, you don't. I mean, the kills are so gruesome and horrific,
Yeah.
That you don't want to see that with little kids.
Nope.
No, I wouldn't.
Or dogs or kittens.
I don't even know. No. Like, I'm glad that we have standards and like restrictions on what we can show and film, and video games for that matter.
Definitely.
Oh yeah. And what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, in the movie theater scene, one other gruesome death was where Meg when like falls to the ground like after like ducking when the Blob was grabbing someone. She turned and saw like a woman like laying sideways on the ground. Tried to like pick her up and then her face had completely melted away.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
That was
God. Yeah.
That was very chilling.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's kind of like the car scene. Her face melted inwards too.
Oh yeah.
The date.
Yep.
I wanted to mention the car scene. That scene had me satisfied, but also feeling bad at the same time because I felt bad because obviously Vicky, she seemed like a girl who she didn't deserve to die, but I'm glad that the Blob delivered some karmic justice to who was that guy? Paul's friend Scott, who was trying to take advantage of her. He basically delivered some karmic justice to a creep by killing him off.
Right.
Oh, God, yeah. To think that people like that actually are living among us is just disturbing to me.
That's just messed up.
His bar in that trunk. I was like, really?
It's heavily implied that he spiked her drink to like make her unconscious, so that he could like do whatever. Oh, Jesus.
Terrible.
And seeing things like that, because things like that do happen in real life. That's like one of the reasons I've talked to like a few family members who were just like about to start college, who are younger than me, and I told them, at college, when you go to college, there's going to be obviously a lot of parties and people will encourage you to drink, and just know that there's nothing wrong with just saying no, I don't want to have anything to drink. There's no shame in it. But if you are going to drink, you prepare your own drinks, open your own drinks. Don't ever accept an open drink from anybody. Because they could drug it, they could poison it, and God knows what could happen.
I just had that conversation too yesterday. It came up and I was like, I don't know. I guess just giving tips like that too. Like if you ever when you do start doing that in a few years at that age in college, you know, and you go out with your friends and you're thinking innocently, you know, you don't think people are going to try to do those things to you, but you just have
Oh,
to
I
take the
gotta mute.
precaution, you know, like I used to be the one that would watch everyone's drinks while they went to the bathroom because I didn't trust anybody. So I was like, you guys all go, I'll watch everything, you know, all our drinks. And then when they came back, then, you know, then I went and took
Oh, yeah.
my turn.
That's right. You always got to make sure you carry your drink with you. Don't leave it behind. Because,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or if you don't know the person, like say, you know, some people do blind dates maybe, or
Yeah.
whatever, however they're doing it today, but whatever they're calling it today, Tinder, whatever. It's like a blind date.
I will never use Tinder. I don't trust it.
For them to just, you know, order like a bottle drink where you see them actually open the cap and not insert something in, you know, like just to take that precaution of just don't assume that they're handing you this red pretty drink with the umbrella. It's not safe. It's been out and open. Who knows what's in it?
That's right. Yeah. You can't be too careful when it comes to drinking out there, you know?
Mm-mm.
Exactly.
Oh, here. Angela was saying the end was such a cliffhanger. I wonder what would happen to that little blob that was inside the jar. Oh, man. If it was let loose again, like, it's repeating itself because we're not learning from our mistake.
Well, I feel like they leave it opened with the Reverend, like that he's saying when he gets the sign, he's going to let it loose.
Yeah, because
you know, like the plagues or something.
That's right. Yeah, because in the end, when he saw the blob attacking the town, he just saw this as like a sign of the apocalypse. And I would like for somebody to tell me right now, where exactly in the Bible does it say that the world will end from a gelatinous blob? Yeah. I would like to know.
Oh,
I didn't think it was in there.
I don't think it was either, but I'm just going to look at this. Many cultures have cryptozoological creatures that target kids. They are an important aspect of tribal society. Unfortunately, that's kind of true. You see that in a lot of different cultures.
You do. That's
you
right.
See that even in this modern era. Like you look at something like Slender Man, for example, that goes after kids.
Yeah, that's true.
Slender Man. Have to ask Nostradamus.
Isn't Slender Man manifested though? Like he was a myth and then he became because they manifested him?
In some way, yes. It's kind of hard to say. But before, like when it was just really a story, it usually focused on them going after kids and teenagers.
That's right. And yeah, kind of like how in I hate to mention this, but the movie, the 2018 movie.
Oh, jeez. And me and Tom saw that movie in theaters.
I saw it with you.
Oh yeah, I forgot you were with us. I remember. I forgot about.
I was there.
And it may very well be the worst horror film I ever seen in a theater.
The only good part about it is the actor who played Slender Man. That's like the only good thing out of that entire film.
Javier Bardem.
Yeah, I keep forgetting his name. So Javier Bardem. That's all that's good about that film is just him.
Just the actor.
Just the actor who plays Slender Man. That's it.
He makes
everything else sucks.
Yep. He makes his living playing monsters in movies. He played, a big role in like in my favorite found footage horror film, Wreck, which we've done an episode on. And let's see, he was Mama. He was also in It, the new It. So he played
the leper.
The leper. When I saw that tall, slim figure, I'm thinking that's got to be him. That's got to be Javier Bardem.
And he also played, I think, some of the monsters too in Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, the film.
That's
he
right.
was in that. And he was, of course, what else was he in? You know more movies than I do, Todd. So help me out here.
Crooked Man in The Conjuring 2.
Crooked Man, yep, there's another one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's in a lot, and I'm sure we're probably going to see him. I'm sure we're going to see more of him probably this year.
No doubt, for sure.
Oh, because of that condition he has, whatever. It's
Marfan syndrome. It causes like a thinning of muscle structure and a tall, slim figure.
Yeah, it gives makes your fingers kind of a little bit elongated.
Oh yeah. Oh, once again, yeah, I do want to see Megan. It looks interesting. I'm not confident that's going to be the best horror film this year by any means, but will be interesting to see another story of artificial intelligence gone wrong.
I just got to say this, Don. I hate to say it. I mean, even if it's not the best, if people are asking about it, you know what we're going to have to eventually do, right? We're going to have to do an episode on Megan because everyone's requesting it, apparently.
It's coming out Friday.
Yeah. So sometime next week, we'll probably check it out.
Yeah. And not only that, but considering that this is January, this is like the typical month where Hollywood is dumping movies that it doesn't really have much faith in.
Yeah.
It just wants to get those ones out of the way so that they could, release ones that they do have faith in. And you guys, have you ever noticed that? They released.
I never really noticed that previously. I don't know how I haven't.
Like early on, like Slender Man, that was released early on in the year, like it was January or February, one of those two.
I thought it was released during the summer.
Was it? Well,
I thought it was the summer we saw it.
The Bye Bye Man was definitely released.
Oh God, no! Don't even bring that one up.
Oh yeah, that's right. And
what the hell is this with Jeremy?
He wants
oh no!
He wants that movie to be discussed. Apparently, that's the way I'm seeing it.
One day we will. Yeah, but I can't see a movie before it's released. Then right now, sorry to say, but we'll get to it.
We're not doing the Bye Bye Man.
No, I'm sorry I brought that up.
That's what. Hey, you know what? Don't pot. You know what? Don't hear it. Don't think it. Don't see it. Don't share it.
Don't think it.
Don't scream it. Don't do an episode of it. That should have been one of the rules. Don't do a podcast episode of it. And
Killer dolls.
See a movie about a killer doll. What
Chucky? Chucky vibes.
Yeah, Chucky. Yeah. The Chucky remake vibes. That's what I'm getting of it.
I was a kid.
Good to see you. Happy New Year.
And well, yeah, of course, we were all kid once. But my friend called me babysitting, and she was freaking out. And I didn't really realize that I was into the paranormal as much as I was back then. It just wasn't like something you discuss with words, like definitions. It was just like if you had these things happening to you, it's like, we took what we said to each other for what it is, like we didn't really question a whole lot. We just like accepted what people were telling you. And so I remember her calling me and just freaking out because at the time we were like babysitter age. And she was like, Jill, the Chucky doll is freaking me out. It keeps popping out of the closet. Like it just keeps falling out of the closet. And I was like, okay, well, it's a doll. She's like, it's moving on its own and it's freaking me out. I can't even go in the same room with the Chucky doll. And I was like, well, kick it in there and lock the closet and put a chair in front of the door. That's what I would do. Like, fight the doll.
Finish him.
She told me like 3 times to get advice. And I'm like, I'm not coming over. Just take care of it. You can do it. It's a doll. She was like convinced the doll was doing things on its own and trying to scare her and
just throw out the window.
I know. I was like, throw it outside.
Yeah.
It was funny though. Like how much dolls freak us out,
Yeah. Well, except for Jeremy, you know how he loves them.
Yeah.
True story.
Let's see. There were 2 other actors in the Blob that I wanted to go over. One of them was someone I've seen in just a few other works. There was the deputy, Deputy Briggs, who who showed complete dislike towards Brian Flagg, and he was the cop who survived only until the end when it attacked the church. You know exactly what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
Yep. So he's played by Paul McCrane. I've seen him before as in a villain role. He played Emil in RoboCop.
That's right. Yeah.
He went with a far more gruesome demise than in the Blob, when he was which involves toxic waste and getting exploded after being hit by a car.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's something you'd have to see to believe.
Exactly. Yeah, I figure you would.
Yep, and he's also been in TV shows such as 24 and ER.
That's my dad's all-time favorite. You know what? I got to bring this up. Don, since you brought up 24, I don't know if I told you, my dad's been reviewing all our tapes that we've had all these years,
Oh,
and among them is a collection. Among them is a collection of tapes of the show 24. And I just said, man, I remember when you always recorded you literally recorded every single one of those new episodes of that show 24. Never watched it though myself.
and
What?
now we can stream it on Netflix.
Yeah, we still got those tapes.
Well, keep them. They're going to be antiques. I mean, seriously,
I told my dad at least keep the, like, I know they're you can see them on streaming or wherever, but you have basically the entire Fox channel on it.
yeah, that's right. And yeah, because I've been telling you, Nick, I've been telling people that we'd be lucky if even half of current VHS tapes work anymore because they decay over time. That's the problem. That's one of the main reasons why they wanted to create something to replace VHS tapes, which led to the creation of the DVD. Then we decided, we want higher quality, so we created the Blu-ray. Oh, we want even higher quality. We released 4K. It's a never-ending cycle. It goes on and on.
Well, you see down here, and Don, you know all too well with my weathered tapes that I have, I've actually managed to keep them preserved so they haven't decayed the least bit. They're still those tapes I have now have been around for like 25, 30 years, and they're still in great shape. So I'm hoping, well, if they made it through 25, 30 years, I'm sure I could probably put them through another 25 to 30, because these are rare tapes I have. They were never added to Blu-ray. They were never added to DVD. They were never added to Blu-ray. Definitely not 4K. I mean, yes, we got some of them on YouTube now, but these are seriously rarities that if I were to sell them, I probably would make a lot of money off of them, but I choose not to because they're very important to me.
Oh yeah, I hear you. I know somebody who is like similar with that. Recently, actually, not that recently, like over a month ago, I was helping my Aunt Mary and my Uncle Vince move to their new house. They just recently moved to a bigger house. I was helping them move some stuff. Again, the last of the things. And we brought out like 2 big tubs of VHS tapes. So like from way back when we were all just like watching like stuff on VHS when we were like on vacation, all kinds of Disney flicks, all kinds of like little kid stuff that my 2 cousins, the twins, they were watching, like Care Bear stuff. There was like, yeah.
I watched Care Bear. Why are you laughing?
I never watched that growing up. I was more of a Thomas fan.
Yeah, so I'm wondering like how well preserved those ones are. I mean, they kept them like supposedly like sealed in those bins like for all this time, like over 20 years now.
And Sarah, I just wanted to respond. Yeah, Sarah, they're down here in the basements, like where I'm at. I mean, you can't see them, but they're actually all the way to my right in the back. And
that's what my subscribers.
Yeah, I've kept them in really great shape, so they're nowhere near any type of moisture. Some of them are still in plastic cases.
Your basement's
haven't
nice.
even opened them yet.
Mine is like, it's not a room like that. It has dirt floor, and I remember we had people over, I guess, and somebody left the water hose on in the garden, and so a lot of the water fell into the basement. Outside, and it just flooded like half of that room.
Oh no.
It took a while to drain out all the water and dry it out and everything. So yeah, maybe for us, like your basement's nice. I don't see any moisture in yours. We definitely had moisture that night.
I don't have to worry about my basement. You know why? I don't have one.
The basement,
because you live in a damn condo. You live in a damn condo.
I won't go down there because like cats go down there to die, like they go down there and you can't get out. Like, so I'm like, I just don't go down there. I know the areas that I shouldn't go on purpose. Like I'll purposely avoid them because I already know what to expect. Like some of us, we already know what's up there in the attic or what's down in the dark basement, the dingy basement. No, thank you.
I hear you.
Oh, what the hell this means by Billy.
Oh,
so cute.
Oh, thank you. Okay, sorry. Let's go back to the Blob.
Yes, the Blob. Yes. Oh, one other name that's in this is there was a wounded soldier near the end when they were in the sewers. where Brian and Meg came across when they were on their way out.
The sewer.
The wounded soldier, like had like an arm injury after being faced by the Blob, was played by Bill Moseley.
Bill Moseley.
Bill Moseley, yes. We have seen him in all kinds of horror films. I mean, he was in let's see, he was Otis in The Devil's Rejects and House of a Thousand Corpses. He was Johnny in the Night of the Living Dead remake, another horror remake that's underrated and underappreciated at the time of its release, just like this film and just like The Thing. Seriously, what did people back then have against horror remakes?
Yeah. He was also, wasn't he also in the sequel of Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Yeah, he was. And Don,
favorite.
don't forget, as a reminder, a big reminder too, you and I have met him.
Yes.
Yeah, we actually did meet him. And I'm actually looking for those pictures right now. He was at Fangoria's Weekend of Horror Conventions in Chicago, and this was almost 15 years ago, back in 2009. So
yeah,
we were still high school age. We were still in high school. So
I can't wait till I see that picture.
I'm looking for him right now.
Yeah.
So as soon as I find him, I'll share the screen.
Yeah, this is like years before I spiked my hair.
When you guys are still babies. Little baby face.
Yeah.
You're right. We are.
I remember we met not only Bill Moseley, we both also met George Romero. We met Tom Savini.
Wow.
We also got to meet Marilyn Burns from the original Texas Chainsaw. And that's the other thing too. Since we've seen some of these celebrities, sadly, some of them now have passed away.
Yes,
so they're no longer with us.
Yeah, meaning the original.
Who else did we?
The survivor from the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah, I remember meeting her. George Romero. Yeah, I'm sad that he's no longer with us.
Yeah, and also, damn it, what was her name?
Elvira.
No, she wasn't there. No, it's no, it was the final girl, also from the second Texas Chainsaw. We saw her too.
Oh yeah, I remember her. Oh man, what was her name?
It's killing me right now. I can't even remember what it was.
Yeah.
I'm still looking for the pictures. I know I have them somewhere. It's been a long time since I've seen them.
Create a digital folder on your computer and label it. That's what I do.
Well, I do have them, but the problem is I'm using my laptop. They're on the other computer. But I know I uploaded them on Facebook. I just gotta find them.
2009, The Blob was announced as a reboot with Rob Zombie as writer and director. Oh yeah, they've been trying to get another remake off the ground for a long time. Like first they didn't wanted Rob Zombie to be in it, and they tacked him on for a while and decided, you know what, I'm done.
They did.
Yep. And also, there are new plans for it, and they wanted to have Samuel L. Jackson play the lead in it, or at least.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's gonna be crazy.
That's quite an imaginary. I mean, that's quite some thinking for quite a actor like him to be in that movie.
Yep, he will strike down the Blob with great vengeance.
Well, he'll help with the biblical references. Maybe he'll be the reverend.
Yeah,
maybe.
Make sure it's not a reverend that actually keeps part of the Blob, but believing that it's part of the Bible. Seriously, where in the Bible does it say anything about a blob creature causing
with the Bible?
Where does it say that?
It's the omitted chapter.
the newly revised Bible, I'm guessing.
Because it would have to explain, aliens and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Or in this case, because in the remake, it's actually like I said, it's a government experiment gone wrong in the worst way.
What the hell happened? Sorry, I'm trying to go. I think I must have left these pictures on a group page, and my God, I don't know what's happened, but everything here is mixed up. What the hell happened to these pages?
Oh man,
that is weird. All right, well, I'm just only gonna search one final area, and if I don't see it, I don't know where. It'll probably have to wait another time to find those pictures because I just can't find them right now. This is really messed up.
I hear you. And
that's really bizarre.
Yeah, and I think the kid who played what was his name? Kevin, Meg's little brother. I think he did a great job in this film as well. Yeah. Yeah, like even though it was like a minor performance, and this kid was played by what was Michael Kenworthy, who on set I was kind of surprised to find out about this. On set, he actually did have a crush on Shawnee Smith. Like he said in an interview that he said in an interview that whenever they hugged, he would kiss her on the cheek and it made her blush.
Aw.
Yeah, although it is kind of weird, because knowing that this was a 13-year-old kid, and Shawnee Smith was like she was almost 20 at the time that this movie was made. So yeah.
Don't you judge him.
You can form crushes at a young age. I think my first crush, I mean, a lot of us still have some memories of being like in kindergarten and having our first crush and just like running away when they look at you and you're like, ah, and you just like dart.
Excuse me.
I know, but what I mean is that like 13, it's like you're a 13-year-old kid, and like this actually the woman's almost 20, and it's like, yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Hey, different time, Don.
Don't judge him.
You have to admit whether you like it or not. That was just a different time.
And when I saw this performance, I thought this kid looks familiar. So I dove and I did some digging, and I did see him in one other film. It was The Return of the Living Dead Part 2. Where,
oh yeah,
he played Jesse in it. So he was the hero in that film. And I don't think he's ever really been into anything that big ever since. I think he gave up acting.
On the Blob, was his scene with the Jello? Like it cuts into the Jello scene. That's him eating it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, he was in that, and so he was in just those two films that I was familiar with: The Blob and Return of the Living Dead Part 2. So, yeah, and the kid did have potential. It's a shame that his career didn't go further than that. But
right.
but like everybody was saying earlier with the Saw movies, that's another franchise we got to cover on here. I know I'm making a list.
I mean, I can't see why not. Though it's hard to believe that Saw is almost 20 years old now.
2004.
Jeez. Where the hell is all this time gone by?
Let's just not do the math. It doesn't feel that long ago.
Well, technically, it did start off as a short film in 2003. Where it was like focusing on just this one trap, and instead of Shawnee Smith, it was a guy. It was Lee Wennell, that's his name. Yeah, he instead of like Shawnee Smith, it was him.
Yeah, Lee Wennell.
Lee Wennell, yes, one of the writers of the of Saw. So yeah, he only in the first Saw film that came after that, where he played Adam.
Right.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
Guys, I'll be right back. I gotta bring this upstairs quickly, so I'll be back in a minute, Don.
Okay, no problem. Yeah. So another improvement, I think, as far as the design of the Blob, it now has these tentacles, where it just grabs people and pulls them into itself, which I think is great because we look back at the original, the way the Blob kills people, it just moves towards them and touches them, and then it kills them. But now this thing has a new attack method, which
Do you think it's like evolving as it just grows? It just evolves into these other parts of it.
I think so, because it didn't show that it having tentacles until the diner scene, where another shocking scene where I guess one of the cooks, I think that's what he was, they in that diner in the kitchen, he was trying to unclog the drain. Yeah, using the plug crazy to no avail. And he reaches in and is touching something corrosive. The Blob then sucks him down the drain.
Yeah. It's like, well, he must have been digesting him for him to fit through the...
That's what it was.
Hole.
Yeah, that's what that was. But,
okay.
It's amazing how they managed to do that effect where his head just goes inside the...
Yeah, the piping. And I was like, oh, it just got worse and worse.
Oh yeah.
To where there's a foot hanging out and what other body part hanging out of the sinkhole.
Yeah, our parents always told us that you can't get stuck down a drain. We've been lied to.
Oh.
And oh man, and then it leads to the chase scene where you go to where it chases like Meg and Brian into the freezer, and
Mhm.
and then we finally they don't know it yet, but its weakness they can't go into the thing can't won't go in the freezer because it can't stand the cold.
Mhm.
And but it did leave particles of it frozen inside that ice, which the Reverend found later on, which which then it unfroze and was trapped inside that jar. But
Yeah.
yeah, anyway, so the Blob's weakness is cold. So yeah, man,
Mhm.
we got some movie monsters from the '80s where like last time when we did, where the thing, its weakness was fire, weakness was heat, and now the Blob, this monster's weakness is cold.
Well, I don't know if it's so much a weakness as it just puts it in a state where it can't move.
Well,
And
yeah,
then it's not killed though. So it's like, how would you kill the Blob?
that's right. If this thing's frozen completely, like it's not dead, it's just frozen. That's the thing. The
Mhm.
Blob, you can't kill it.
Mhm. Yeah, it's just kind of like in the suspended state. So I feel like wherever it derived from, if it, well, like from the original versions, it's coming from space, um, and not just manufactured by us. It's like some form of it. I mean, maybe it landed and then the engineers took it or scientists took it and reformed it and everything, and so it just kind of got worse. They just saw it as something that they could use, but who cares how deadly it gets? Like you can't control it, like that's the only problem with them wanting to use it as a weapon is the only way that they'd achieve that is if they could control it somehow, and they you seem to find that they can't really control that once it gets out exposed and there's no way of really controlling it.
Yeah, it's like a government that gets involved like the second half of the film. Yeah, they wanted this thing alive so they could use it as a weapon, but they seem to be like not realizing the potential danger it has not just to your enemies but to everyone, because this thing grew to a proportion, to a size. This thing became grew to the point where it managed to like devastate an entire town in less than 12 hours.
Yeah, I think they were trying to warn him, like the one that's lead of the whole investigation.
Dr.
They were
Meadows.
trying they were trying to let him know, warn him, well, if this actually gets out the way at the rate it's going, there won't be a population of Earth.
Yeah, like one of the scientists in that film stated, like this thing, like the way this thing's growing, by
Mhm.
next month there may be no U.S.
Mhm.
Or no, he said by next week may be no U.S.
Yeah. Like
So
it's just going to devour everything, everyone.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, because like basically this film like 10 tackles not only just Civil War or no, sorry, not Cold War paranoia. It also tackles the idea of like government experiments that could go too far.
So it doesn't dissolve the bones though, because remember like when she was in the phone booth and then she saw it kind of like try to eat over the phone booth, she could see like the melted skulls inside the blob.
Oh yeah, when she saw like the Sheriff Herb,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like well, it didn't. I think it just didn't wasn't able to dissolve a bone though, because bone is a stronger part of your body. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's stronger than the muscle because I mean obviously because if we get cuts, so it's obviously that tissue is weaker than bone. But yeah,
He didn't want to eat the bone. He just wants to eat the flesh.
yep, and that's what yeah, because the blob, it's just the color of it tells you that this thing is absorbing flesh and blood, and I mean, because
Proteins.
Yeah.
this the color of the blob shows that because
Yeah.
yeah, when you think back to when it first came out of that meteorites, that it was just a clear color.
Damn it, the Alexa. Sorry,
Yeah, that's right. It changed into that pink gelatin looking.
yeah, it had that pinkish look to it. I mean, the appearance of it, because it
Yeah.
was obviously ingesting human flesh and blood, which gave it that pinkish look.
And the frozen state, it was like an amethyst.
Yeah,
Yeah, it looked that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they made like a little crystallized.
it was like crystals.
Yeah, I thought that was a nice touch to it.
So beautiful.
Yeah, it's like look but don't touch.
Yeah. Sarah says she fears all things pink. Wow. Wow.
Oh man.
Well, that kind of pink in the movie, it reminds me of this gross cough syrup my mom used to try to feed me when I had like pneumonia or whatever was going on. And she's like, just take this. And it was that same exact pink color. And I was like, I just can't. Like, I'm thinking about it now and I want to gag. It was so gross.
What was it? You said pinkish, right? So
It's the same color as the Blob, how it ends up looking. It's like, I don't know if I had already seen the Blob. All I know is it just was disgusting. And I was like, I am not putting that in my mouth.
Yeah.
Gross.
Oh man. Oh wow.
It wasn't Pepto. It was like this cough syrup that's like the worst cough syrup I've ever had. It was like from the doctor's prescribed and it was nasty. It's the grossest thing ever. And it was that same pink, hot pink, whatever pink color that is.
You should have just froze it over so you could make it into one of those crystals.
Yeah, exactly.
She had to bribe me. It was like, okay, take this and then you can have sugar. You can have all the sugar you want.
It's like Jeremy needs to talk to you, Jill.
Okay.
Oh man, but yeah, the Blob. It's
I'm in trouble. No, just kidding.
You're grounded.
Uh-oh.
Yes,
I know.
one more time because I just realized my laptop is just about to die. So give me a second. Here.
Okay. Get your cord.
Yep.
Mine was also not charged, so I plugged it.
That's what I'm doing right now.
Nice. Yeah, I'm keeping mine plugged in. So
Yeah, you're not having any technical issues this time. You're staying on, connected. You're no weather. Is the weather good?
It's actually Don, how can we it's kind of eerie outside. Believe it or not.
Eerie.
It's like it's foggy.
Oh, like the mist?
I was
in the
gonna say
movie?
there's been a fog outside my place for like hours.
Damn it, we should have brought that up while we were talking about the mist. It's kind of strange. We got a mist going on right now.
You should go out there and take pictures of it.
Take pictures.
Maybe I
And,
should. If you guys don't see me come back, you'll know what happened.
Well, no, you were grabbed.
Yeah, just go and take pictures of the mist, and just run inside in case if there's any interdimensional monsters in there.
You know what? I'm sure I'll be fine. Even if I get grabbed, you guys can just say, "Oh, I'm sure he's okay. He'll turn up after 2 days or so."
We'll look for you later.
Yeah. So interdimensional beings straight from the mist is probably a good idea. We shouldn't have any portal guns like in Rick and Morty.
Well, you should have them, right?
What? Maybe no, we shouldn't have them because what if we end up?
You open a hole and let them all in. Okay.
End up into like what Cronenberg world done.
It could end up becoming like that too.
See, my basement reminds him, Jeremy.
Are we going to talk about the mist eventually? Because that'd be fun. Well, no, you don't want to because you don't like the ending.
We could. I've last time I saw it was in theaters 15 years ago, and I still remember all of it. So I know it's like I don't have to watch it another time because I remember the whole thing. So yeah, like we will still be able to talk about it. I feel like there's so much I want to let out onto this podcast.
Yeah, you're right on that, Sarah.
Think of it as a therapeutic session to get over the ending.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Like it'll be therapeutic for me.
And yes, Jeremy, I know what you're saying. My decorations, I'm only keeping them up for one more week, and then after that, I'm sadly taking a lot of the stuff down.
Nick and I are on the only two people on that boat because everyone else is like, Jill, today's your last day for Christmas, okay? No songs. I had the Christmas tree on and my dad turned it off. I'm like, who turned off my Christmas tree? And they're like, but it's past Christmas. I'm like, I'm still in Christmas mode.
Not by the Christian belief it isn't. It's still going till January 9th.
I know. And it was only January 1. And I was like, I am not ready to let it go.
All right, let's see. It's usually all mine are down before New Year's Eve. I'm slacking. Well, you know what, Jeremy? You've done the right thing.
Leave it. Leave it.
because no, seriously, I was at church when I went to church on Christmas Eve. They said this season goes till January 9th.
Ooh, yay!
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I'm taking that's what is that next? When is that?
A week and 2 days.
It's next Monday. So yeah,
Ah,
I'll be taking my stuff down then.
yeah.
Monday. Okay.
I'm doing the same. You know, I got to take my tree down. I got to take my decorations off the wall.
But for me though, and Don, you know this all too well. In just a few weeks, I'll be decorating again for Valentine's Day. So there's a little break in between.
Oh.
Chinese New Year's end of January.
Mm.
Chinese New Year's end. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Tree Venge.
Tree Venge.
We're not covering that film on the podcast.
I figured you wouldn't.
Let's see. Yeah, we're not covering that. And like I said before, we're not covering the Jeepers Creepers movies.
Ah. I like Jeepers. One.
Well,
Jeepers. I like how you just refer to it as just Jeepers. I've never heard of anyone just referring to it as Jeepers.
Jeepers Creepers.
The reason why I'm not covering Jeepers Creepers on this, Jill, is because I've said this on the podcast before. I'm not sure if you saw it, but the director, Victor Salva, I found out that he's actually a convicted pedophile. He was
okay.
Yeah.
He was convicted, and not suspected. He was actually convicted, charged for having inappropriate relations with a child actor back in 1989, and he also had possession of child porn on him. So, and he only got 15 months, which I think is way too short of prison time. I mean, just the possession of child porn alone, man, you deserve several decades of prison time for that.
We won't even discuss my thoughts on what I would do to this person.
Well,
yes,
actually, Don, put it this way. For someone convicted of that crime, it wouldn't even just be several decades. You won't last 10 days or even 10 minutes for that kind of crime.
Nope. And I look at Jeepers Creepers as a metaphor, a monster that is targeting the young.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard the remake for Jeepers Creepers was not good. That's what Jeremy just said.
It is terrible.
Hated it.
Yeah, I
hated it.
And you know what? It's a shame to also what Victor did, because the movie that he was working on, which would have been a movie for Jeremy, was a movie called Clown House, which dealt with serial clown killers.
Clown House was where that actor he had relationships with was
he did. Yeah, that's the issue there. I mean, it would have been a good movie to talk about. It had that whole issue not occur, and it's a shame too, because it was also one of the. They said this was also one of the last slasher movies of the 80s, because it was 89 it came out. So it could have ended on a good note if that whole crime didn't happen. Brad's back.
Brad.
That's because she is
You're trying to get on my
she's saving the creepers when you look in my window, Jill. That's what he's now I understand why you're calling it just Jeepers.
It did have Justin Long. I've seen him in movies. So
on part one.
In part one, and also in dream sequences in the second film.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, Justin Long. I remember him from what was that? Dodgeball. That was a great comedy. He was in this one horror film that I should look into called Tusk. I hear it's.
I haven't seen that.
About that one. Yeah.
I don't know if I want to.
I hear it's pretty disturbing.
Yeah.
But I think I'm probably not as disturbing as the Human Centipede. Oh God.
Oh jeez. No. Paint her face pastry white and have
now that I won't watch twice.
Oh my God. Jeremy's talking about you, Jill. Paint her face pasty white, have the biggest grin her face could possibly take, and put her at my window. Oh God.
No.
All right, I'll do that for you.
God, she doesn't know her. Thank goodness she doesn't know. I've never given her my address.
No, hey, just have me for the job. Have me, completely white and red makeup, just doing this.
You put some red contacts on it.
Like that, and have me say,
"Oh shit!
Oh
shit!
My God.
Jeremy, I forgot. Jeremy's got my address. I said it too soon. Yep, he's gonna be saying that to Jill.
Yep. He's gonna send me.
Now she's gonna know where I live.
Nick, he's gonna send me there and just have me say, "Come join the clown, Nick."
You You don't need the address from Jeremy. You know where I live. It's Jill that I'm worried about.
I don't need to know where you live. I'll just find you.
Yep.
Okay. All right. You know what I'm going to have to do? You know what I'm going to have to do now, right? I'm going to have to go into witness protection like Brad. Yep. Now, hey, Brad, if you're still on, I'm joining witness protection. And he does my address too. I forgot. Damn it. Brad, I'm joining protection.
It's funny.
Gonna have to go into hiding and put a new Facebook like he did.
I just need your addresses so I can send you some cookies.
Yep. Hey,
Just-
hey, Nick, you can run, but you can't hide.
They should have a girl version of it.
Oh, Pennywise?
Yeah, they should have a girl one too. They had a Chucky girl version.
Well, I've seen cosplays of women like going as Pennywise.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, that might not be too far off.
Hey, I've seen that from SNL. Don't forget.
Oh, did they?
Oh, I remember that skit.
I missed it.
I did a reaction video to that years ago. It's blocked now because YouTube always wants to block most of the stuff I post.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just blocked a video that I just posted today.
Yes, and I will be on a milk cart now too. Thanks to now it's brought because of Jeremy, Brad, and Jill. No.
Oh no.
You got me, Jeremy. Now Jill's gonna. Now I better start. I really got to sign up for witness protection.
You're gonna paint an address number just to trick me, huh? You're gonna paint a new address number on there, just add an extra digit. She won't get it. She won't know it's not my real address.
That's between a cross between Mark Hamill's Joker and Scooby Doo.
That was one way that Bill Skarsgård was going for.
I want to see the Crow. I would cosplay the Crow.
Oh,
he's not that scary to me.
No, not really. It's because he's not meant to be scary. He's meant to be like an undead avenger of his and his fiance. Yeah. So
he's avenging his death. So.
Oh yeah, but I gotta tell you, I've mentioned on this podcast before that movie is tragic, seriously tragic.
Very.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when you know what happened to Brandon Lee on set.
Actually, I should have went with Evergreen Avenue. Nick can be Homer's neighbor. So are you trying to make me the next Flanders?
Don't. Oh man, now you remind me of when back in 2007 when I saw the Simpsons movie in theaters.
Me too.
And the show is still going on. The show is never going to die ever.
It's still going.
It's never lasting. Other side from the Flanders. Okay, so that other unknown neighbor that we never see on the other side of the Simpsons.
Yeah. Oh, and the Simpsons also parodied the Blob.
Oh, did they?
Treehouse of Horror.
I remember that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Homer ate the Blob and ended up becoming the Blob itself.
He became a blob?
Yeah. And also eventually went as far as to what?
He ended up eating a lot of townspeople, including Dr. Phil.
I was about to get to Dr. Phil.
That's funny.
Brad's like, does that make me Nelson?
Yes, it does.
Kids will never age. Yeah, well, hey, you know what? There was that when they did that Family Guy Simpsons crossover. They said Bart's been dealing with Nelson for Nelson for 25 years, and he still looks 10 years old.
Yeah, they did. Hey Nick, they did the same thing in the Pokemon anime. You know, like Ash Ketchum. Ash Ketchum has been 11 years old for 25 years.
Yep. Make that almost 30 now.
Actually, no, he's been 10 years old. He hasn't turned 11. He is yet 25 years. He's yet to turn 11.
Yeah. Should be Nelson because my voice sounds like his right now. I'm almost curious and want to know how that sounds. Jeremy's crusty.
Oh no.
Gorgeous.
How the hell did we end up start talking about the Simpsons?
Because I talked about how Homer became the Blob.
That's right.
No, it was when Jeremy was saying I could be Homer's neighbor.
Oh, yeah. And Yeah. So the one interesting thing that about the original version of the Blob is that the town where they filmed it, the movie theater scene, the movie theater people actually reenact that scene every year. Like they like reenact the scene where everybody's running out of the theater, like running away from the Blob. Even though I'm pretty sure the Blob's not in there, but
Every year they reenact the scene of running out.
yeah, they do it every single time.
Hilarious.
It's like their own little running of the bulls thing they got going on. Only they're running from the Blob.
It's the mix of nuclear power plant and the tire fire.
Okay, so yeah, we were mentioning it before, Nick. Yeah, like you remember, there were certain scenes. Like I think you weren't here when we were discussing this. There was like one disturbing scene where like Cook was like was pulled down the pipe by the Blob.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I
In the
remember
kitchen?
that now.
In the kitchen.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that they did a great job like making that look realistic, like something as crazy as being stuck down a pipe. Yeah, hey, maybe
That's a terrible way to go.
Yeah, are you sure it was the Blob and not he just didn't become Mario? Yeah, like that's probably what would happen if you try to like go down pipes like Mario in real life.
Springfield is the only town in the U.S. where you can see the states of Maine, Colorado, Michigan, and California.
Oh yeah, it's a reference in the movie.
I figured.
Yeah, because nobody knows where Springfield is in the show. Nobody.
It's in the dome.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's definitely what that is, Brad.
I think Ryan Reynolds took that job.
Oh man,
you can't go wrong with Ryan Reynolds.
No, you can't.
He's supposed to be, or is it just talk? The new Bond, or is he trying to be?
I heard Aaron Taylor Johnson is trying to become the next James Bond. Aaron Taylor Johnson, he was in Kick-Ass movies. He was in the 2 Kick-Ass movies. He was also in, what was it, Avengers: Age of Ultron. He played Quicksilver. Petro. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and let's see what else. Oh, he was in Godzilla too.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. He started in there alongside with Elizabeth Olsen, where in Godzilla they played husband and wife, but in Age of Ultron they played brother and sister. So yeah, that's weird.
They were twins, right? In Ultron.
That's kind of odd way to put them together for separate movie roles. Really like this movie his movie Free Guy.
Oh yeah, Ryan Reynolds. Yeah,
I like him obviously in Deadpool.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. Yeah, Ryan Reynolds. Whenever I hear his voice now, I feel like I'm not hearing like an actor. I seriously feel like I'm hearing Deadpool. That kind of impression on me. I hear his voice, I'm thinking Deadpool.
And he's my favorite Avenger.
I know this is not a great remake, but I know, of course, he was also in the remake of Amityville. And I've always said all the time, like whenever I see that, I'm saying this was basically Ryan Reynolds before he was Ryan Reynolds, long before he was the Ryan Reynolds we know from Deadpool.
Oh yeah, and Chloe Grace Moretz was in that, who was in Kick-Ass, Head Girl.
Yep.
Yeah, and Amityville Horror. As far as the Amityville Horror remake, it's like I think on par with the original. It's not the worst horror remake, because I'll tell you about one horror remake that that is terrible now and will continue being terrible in the future. No redeeming qualities whatsoever. Because everybody keeps saying like, oh, like there were some movies like the Blob remake and the Thing remake and Night of the Living Dead remake that were everybody kept saying, oh, but everybody back then kept saying, oh, these are terrible, but they ended up being appreciated years later. One remake that will not be appreciated years later, Black Christmas.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna bring that one up.
So. Yeah, especially the new one.
Nick saw the remake. You didn't see it.
I have not. I won't.
Yeah, the 2019 remake is definitely not worth seeing. Yeah. So that's never going to have any praise. No redeeming qualities. None. Oh, yeah. And so the Blob also gives you that cliche of how they discovered a government experiment has gone wrong, and now the government is trying to clean it up, but they ended up making it worse.
Yeah,
that whole issue, especially with the character Dr. Meadows.
Right.
Oh yeah.
It just goes to show you how much we believe in sometimes with the government covering up anything alien or taking over. It's like, oh, it didn't happen. You didn't see anything. And they just like get rid of all the evidence.
Yeah. Yeah, they do a terrible job at covering things up. You know, like you want to cover things up, then get Will Smith on board. He was good at that.
hmm
But yeah, so I just love the standoff scene between Brian, Kevin Dillon's character, Brian, well, between him and the agents, the government, and like even convincing the town to get on board with how the government has been lying that this whole thing was their fault. Like he was saying things like, "How do you think they got here so quick? How do they even know when to come?"
I just say one thing when it comes to this kind of stuff: the governments.
Yeah, saying meteor was man-made. This is all part of a warfare test that they messed up.
I did like how they recovered his character though, because in the beginning it's like made him look like he's the worst person in town, and then towards the end it's like he's sort of a hero. And
I always loved his character development because he was basically wanting to ditch the entire town, but then when he stumbled upon the government's base of operations, Meadows discovered that Dr. Meadows was trying to cover this up because they were raising that meteorite. It turns out it was a space probe that contained the blob. That meteor was man-made.
Well, I think at one point he tried to leave and he tried to just escape, but then he realized, no, I actually care about the town and the girl and the people. If I leave, then, all of this kind of just, in a way, it might get covered up. They won't they won't be known like what's going on. He just felt like he needed to do the right thing in the end. Like he had to choose to do the right thing there at that point.
Yeah, it's not only that, but he also overheard this radio conversation that Meadows was having with agents in town that Meg and Kevin and Eddie were trapped in the sewers with the blob, and they were willing to trap them down there if it meant containing the blob. So,
and that they didn't really care what would happen to them if they're in the sewer, just kind of like lock it down, let them die. And he couldn't live with himself knowing that fact.
Right.
Yeah, Brian had that change of heart. Yeah. And then which led to him fighting back. And then when the blob finally rises from the sewer, like that was a crazy scene. Just like boom, up like a giant pillar, then comes slamming down like that. Oh man. And then when they finally figured out how to completely stop the blob. Nick?
I'm still here.
Okay. Yeah,
the freezing.
Finally
no, I just don't have that many outlets, and I just realized I forgot to upload something else on the disc, but I'm still here though.
Okay.
And so they discover that it can't stand the cold after Meg was shooting it with a fire extinguisher. Then they barricade themselves in the church to keep it at bay with the fire extinguishers inside the church. And then Brian decides to bring out that snowplow that has literal liquid nitrogen attached to it, or it was like a snow. It wasn't more like a snowplow; it was more like a snow maker that his boss was using, and they used that liquid nitrogen to completely freeze the blob. Yeah, well, technically, Meg did by setting up that bomb to release the liquid nitrogen. So yeah, again, that's what I love about Meg. How they made her into more of a equally heroic as the male hero, Brian, unlike in the original, where 1950s, different time for the way women were portrayed in movies.
Yeah, I was gonna say a lot of the woman characters, it's very dense, like they can't think for themselves and they just die off really fast. And then eventually the horror film started having Final Girl and like survivors.
Oh yeah,
right.
Heroine.
I just like how the way women are depicted as heroes in some movies today. I really, it's like the way women are depicted in movies, they come a long way.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So things are much better now than back then.
Indeed.
Now we're villains.
Well,
killers. Like in the past, and especially even Victorian times, women could be murderers, and then the the jurors would be all men, the judge would be all men, and they would just sympathize and not even hold them accountable, you know, so they would be set free for murdering and admitting to murdering somebody.
Right.
Lizzie Borden.
Yes.
Yep.
You know exactly
That's
what I was
right.
thinking.
Yeah. That's like one of the most famous cases of a female killer who they decided, you know what, there's no way a woman could commit these murders, so they just let her off the hook.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm sure we're probably going to be discussing real soon in Criminals and Villains. I wouldn't be the least bit surprised, and I'm sure I'll have a slideshow ready for that too for Nick Files.
The boarding case.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Yeah. So, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, like like I said, one of my favorite examples of a strong female lead was Sigourney Weaver's character Ripley in the Alien movies.
Yeah.
That's the best.
Yeah.
And then I like Terminator, but I know that's not exactly horror, but it's still horror. I think.
Well, that's some creepiness in it in a way.
A killing feature robot.
Well, technically the Terminator's a cyborg, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but I see even more of as a sci-fi action than horror.
Right.
Yeah.
It has some aspects of thriller to it, maybe.
I mean, it was still added to the 100 scariest movie moments. So apparently, to some people, it does have a little bit of horror in it. It is about someone. I mean, a robot cyborg trying to kill somebody. When you think about it.
Oh yeah, but Terminator lied to us because apparently right now in this time 2023, Skynet has already wiped out most of the world. So yeah. And Back to the Future Part 2 lied to us because it promised us flying cars at this time, and also and auto lacing shoes.
Well, if you remember, I remember when we were talking about that with Jeremy and Donald, saying that there was even that clip when they appeared on Jimmy Kimmel in 2015, and they look around like, oh, it's been a while, but they're like, this is not how we were hoping it was gonna be.
And hoverboards.
Hoverboards, yeah.
Oh, here. I want my hoverboard. We're kind of getting to hoverboards. I mean, they're like, yeah.
And not those things that a lot of the kids use on wheels and stuff. Like you just stand on it and you operate. Whatever those things are called.
Yeah, I think it's still the same, called a hoverboard as well.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for my Jetson car.
Oh, that classic show. Oh, bad.
And what else? And there was I'm trying to think, wasn't there also one other movie? Oh yeah. I was just thinking of this movie too. And also, we didn't expect to see all these oh damn it. They were like some type of androids. No, they were replicants in the movie Blade Runner. And that took place in 2019, and we have yet to see any replicants.
Or flying cars.
Or flying cars. Yeah, there was flying cars in that movie too. Or in all these high-tech buildings and stuff like that. I mean, I'm really, where the hell was all that stuff? We're way past 2019 now.
Damn you movies for lying to us.
For all that you know.
I'm just glad that we didn't follow the dressing of what they thought the future dressing code would be. Those are hilarious when you look at them now and you're just like, no. But back then when the movie would come out and it's supposed to be the future, their outfits were just ridiculous.
Look at the first episode of Futurama.
Oh, nice. You know what else? You know what else that needs to be?
Hi, Christy.
Oh, hey, Christy. Good to see you.
Hey, thanks for tuning in.
You know, another thing, word of note that I'm surprised hasn't happened yet. Now that it's 20, no, I think it's either it's 2022 or 23. We still haven't had the annual purge that occurred yet.
Oh, thank God the purge. Thank God the purge will never be a thing.
Yeah, but it's set in 2022 or 23.
Never say never.
Hey, Chantel, good to see you from South Africa. Good to see you, Chantel.
I'll tell you what's going to happen if the purge ever became real. It's going to backfire horribly because I'm sure
it will.
It's like, sure, you can give people like a 12-hour period where they can commit any crime they want, murder included. You know, everybody's going to be killing everybody left and right. And when the time is up, do you really think they're going to want to stop their killing spree?
No.
Now that they've had a taste of that kind of so-called freedom to do whatever.
The mean cat.
You think they're going to want to give that up? No,
I don't think so. That would be pretty difficult to control.
Exactly. It'll escape control, and before you know it, the whole world will be complete chaos.
Happy New Year, Chantel. Good to have you. It's got to be late right now out in South Africa.
Yeah.
Super late or super early?
Yeah. And again, she always will wake up and find one of these shows on.
We need to do a drunken oracle karaoke style, though. You need to sing, Christy.
I think that's who he's referring to, Christy.
Yeah.
It's 6 a.m.
Oh,
I hope you're not speaking.
Oh, see? Early.
Ron, you got something to tell us?
For me?
He said, Sarah's like, I hope you're not speaking from experience.
No, I'm just speaking from what the most likely scenario will be.
That's a little bit of hard words there, Don. Are you sure you're on the right show?
Really, The Purge.
The way be an alcoholic.
The way I just described The Purge, I'm not basing that on experience. I'm basing that on what I consider to be the most realistic outcome.
Yeah. Indeed.
You're just seeing the future. You're just foretelling.
Guys, I don't know what's going on here, but since we started talking about it, we're getting more viewers on right now. There's like 9 people.
We were talking about The Purge. Maybe you should bring up The Purge.
What's going on here?
Oh, certainly will in our episode. Definitely this year. I don't know when, but I will.
We should anyway, because, when you think about it, and it's hard for me to even say this, but it was almost 10 years ago that the first Purge movie came out.
We saw it in theaters.
Yeah, we saw it. We saw that in theaters. You remember when we had like such a huge group that night that we went? That's like the only time that to this day we have never had a larger group of friends on that night.
I remember that. And I'll tell you what I'm thinking about for next week's episode. I'm thinking Nightmare on Elm Street. I feel like that one's long overdue.
Oh,
yeah.
Classics.
Murder is a hot topic.
Oh, yeah.
Just one other thing I just got to say about the Blob is, oh, shoot. I just lost my train of thought. It's gone. I hate when that happens. See, I'm getting out my
It'll come back to you.
Riding out of here when the Purge happens.
Well, you know how they've been trying to send people to space? I'm gonna if they announce that the Purge is gonna be a thing, I'm gonna be like, that's it. I'm going to live in space.
Yeah, I thought we already decided we were all going, or were we picking you up on the?
Yeah, we were gonna pick you up. I think.
No, I was gonna get picked up, and then I was gonna pick all you guys up.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna.
Oh, Jeremy, come on!
I was just gonna abduct everybody while I'm already been abducted. I'll be like, wait, I gotta pick up some more people.
That's my solution to the Purge becoming a real thing. My personal solution. I'm going to. It's like
thank you.
I'm just going to be like, yeah, bye-bye, everyone on Earth. Enjoy destroying yourselves.
Yeah, thanks, Chantal. I think it probably was the unicorn that distracted me. Thank you. I really appreciated that.
It's that visual, huh? The unicorn. I love unicorn. I collected unicorns.
Must have been the big, sharp hornet that probably distracted me because it scared the hell out of me seeing how sharp it is.
That's where creatures are coming from. I'd rather live in far away where there are creatures than live in a place where basically I could lose hope in all of humanity, because that's what that's exactly what will happen if the Purge was real. I would
so long it takes for all the fish.
Yeah.
Shit. My God. Yeah, these comments are coming nonstop. I'm trying to keep up with all of them. You ride off on a unicorn, we'll just follow the rainbow.
Have you guys seen the last unicorn where the devil is collecting all the unicorns for his own? Well, it's like the devil.
Legend.
It's like that, but it's called The Last Unicorn. It's an animation movie.
Jeremy, I'm just gonna say this: saying we'll just follow the rainbow.
Check that one.
You don't want to follow the rainbow. You got to taste the rainbow. That's where Skittles come from.
Oh man.
Okay, back to the Blob. What were you saying about the Blob, though, Nick? Before the whole unicorn conversation.
Back to the Blob. So, it flash freeze the Blob, and they're just saying hey, let's get the dump truck and get this to the ice house before dawn. And I'm like, no, considering how much time may have passed during the night, I doubt you're gonna have that much time left.
And how did they know they collected all the pieces?
Exactly.
They don't
Yeah,
dissolve.
One small
there's
particle.
no like little shard. Like, how do you not know you picked up all
One
the
shard.
very tiny shards of it?
One small particle is all it takes for the whole thing to start up again.
I would just close the town. I would just domed it up, or however they did it in Simpsons.
Nuke them.
Drop a bomb on it. Nuke it.
Nuke it.
Nuke it. That's it. End of story. And it's whoever else's problem.
Well, see, but we don't know if you nuke it, the heat will disperse it further, so you can't do that.
Yeah, true. I know. I wasn't really being that serious.
There wasn't there's no containing it.
That's the problem.
So I think the next part of the Blob, if there is ever one other than the Reverend letting it out again, is that it's just going to come back again when it warms up.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
Although it wasn't already frozen. So like just by letting it out eventually, I don't think it would really matter what temperature it would be and after it's been released because it's already alive. Christy, next version of the Blob will be me eating a whole pizza.
A pizza blob.
Pizza Blob. Oh, man. Pizza Blob. That makes me think of in that movie Spaceballs.
Yeah.
That parody of that parody of Jabba the Hutt. Instead of Jabba the Hutt, it's Pizza the Hut.
Pizza the Hut. Yeah, that's right. That was so gross.
Pizza the Hut.
Yeah, it's like that's like the most unappetizing pizza I've ever seen.
The only time I didn't want pizza.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of people who have never seen Spaceballs, so they don't know the references, but it is hilarious.
It is. It's super funny. I saw a lot like right back when I was in high school, and now it was on sale. So
you have it.
Yes,
I figured you would.
Finally.
And I'm sure Jeremy has it in his endless collection of movies he has. Yeah.
Now I can just watch it whenever.
Yeah. No, and again, just go to Jeremy's house. He should have it in his library. I ate pizza during the show.
Speaking of library, something new just came in.
Oh, Blair Witch Project.
Yep. Yeah, I got the Blu-ray and the digital code, so now I can watch that on my phone too.
Chantel's like, I'm with Christy. Don't worry, I'll bring my own pizza. BYOP.
Oh, and Nick, speaking of like found footage, did you hear what happened to the director of Cannibal Holocaust?
No,
he just died.
He did. Rogero Deodato.
Yep.
Oh, now I gotta look this up. Hang on.
They're not saying how he died, but
well, I mean, if it just happened, I don't think they're gonna say anything just yet.
Yeah.
Well, he was. Oh wow. Oh, he died a few days ago. Okay. He was. Oh well, he was 83 years old.
Yeah, because I've expressed on the podcast before I was angry with him because of Cannibal Holocaust because of the animals that he killed to make the film. And like everybody keeps telling me, it's like sure, what he did was absolutely horrible, but the film does have historical value because of how it served as like the start of found footage horror.
Yeah, it is. It started that way, and it's kind of strange to always bring this up, but when we were talking earlier about when we went to Vangoria's Weekend of Horrors back in 2009, because I went there 2 days, and there was one day I was with you. The other day was just the second day was with you. The first day was just me and my dad. And we actually got to meet Rogero Deodato. So I actually got to see him and even went as far as getting a picture with him. And I was really surprised, how he wasn't apparently shocked, especially at my age at that time, that I'd seen such a film like that, even though at that time I didn't see it until a few years later. But I still managed to get a picture with Rogero Deodato. He was I'll be honest too. He was a nice guy, but man, there were, and I don't mean this in a bad way, he was hard to understand because he had a very, very heavy Italian accent. So you really had to listen very carefully to what he was saying. That literally, I think, was probably the first time I ever heard him speak English, because in the days before we had a lot more videos on YouTube, at that time there was only a few specific on-camera interviews of him, and all of them were him speaking Italian. Even when the interviewers themselves were speaking English, he was always speaking Italian. But that was the first time I ever heard him speak English.
Oh yeah. So
blobbing is more fun with friends.
Blobbing for apples.
Yeah, Brad. I'm not gonna touch this. Yeah, I think
I think she means blobbing for apples.
I'm not gonna say the words that I think Brad. I'm just not gonna say it. But yeah,
I'm not
touching that one.
It's a new game.
I'm not touching that one. Oh, is it? Yeah, it is your life. I'm saying it for you, Jeremy.
Oh my gosh.
I touched it, and it's a new game.
I'm not touching that one either. But I will just say that's what she said. I had to say it.
Oh no.
I couldn't resist.
Oh man. Okay.
Well, the blob, it reminds me of when the kids play with the slime, like
yeah.
Slime toys. It's like a huge thing for kids.
Yeah, I was one of those kids.
You too?
Yeah.
Same here.
Jill, it's Chrissy. It's not for Apple. Oh God. Okay. With these comments, I have not touched. This is like the first time ever. I am not touching any of these comments.
Oh my god.
Over my head.
Oh my god. Yeah. In closing, I will say The Blob, excellent remake. It's like yet another 80s horror remake that did not get praised at first, but it's well in its reputation for its amazing practical effects, spot on acting, great cast, and a truly menacing re-imaging of a classic 50s monster. Yeah.
What was your favorite death scene in it?
Favorite death scene? Oh, let's see. That's hard to say. Probably like Paul's, because it like really sets the tone for the whole film. Like it really lets you know that nobody is safe in this film. If it could happen to the boyfriend of the main character, it could happen to anybody.
I think honestly, it's just for me when it comes to my favorite death scenes. I think it's really just all the close-ups of everybody being ingested into it.
Oh yeah,
just the close-up scenes of them dissolving in that acidic fluid.
Yeah, like when you see them after the fact, like just dispersed inside the blob.
Yeah,
those scenes.
I often wonder like what they used. Like what kind of stuff did they use for that film?
Question.
You know, I'm just gonna look this up.
Jello.
Hello.
It reminded me of Jello when you put things in the Jello and it hardens.
Yep. And there was actually one very tame death compared to everything else. It's like one where the whole town is running from the blob, heading for the church. There was a moment where one guy is running, the blob's tentacle slaps down like on one guy, lifts up, and you can see like a guy flattened. It looked like it makes me think of like in Who Framed Roger Rabbit when Dr. Doom was like flattened by the steamroller. It was kind of that what people by blob looked like that.
Hey guys, really quickly, okay, I just went on the trivia, and the first thing that popped up, it's not about what they used, but the partially dissolved but still alive soldier, the one that was devoured. It was performed by stuntman Noble Craig, and get this, I'm not even joking. He was a triple amputee who lost both legs, an arm, and an eye while serving in the Vietnam War.
Oh my god.
And then see, I'm still looking. Okay, now one other thing too, and this is something that goes back to when we were describing the creature itself. Russell and Darabont didn't have a lot of rules for the blob, but they agreed the general concept of the creature was it being an inside-out stomach, meaning the acid is burning, melting, and devouring almost everything it touches. I'm surprised I didn't look that. Yeah, it's like an inside-out stomach because the stomach contains stomach
The
acids.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's right.
Ugh. Night, Christy.
Good
Oh,
night.
Christy's okay. I can't see while I'm doing this, unfortunately. Oh, good night, Christy. Okay, so I think I found it. Where was it? Where did it go? Where did
Your trivia?
Oh, wait. Nope, found it. Here it is. A lot of the Blob slime juice was made out of I don't know how you say it, methocel. It's METHOCEL.
Oh,
CEO.
And
Yeah.
no, it's not, because I spelled part of it. No, it's not any type of crystal meth. It's methocel.
oh my gosh.
I just want to point that out there because I know
Okay.
someone's going to say crystal meth. But yeah, it's like, yeah, it says a lot of it was made out of methocel,
Mhm.
which, by the way, it says here it is both unbelievably slippery and
Mm.
also, got this, a thickening ingredient for milkshakes.
What?
Oh.
Yeah. So
Oh,
apparently
it's like the
you could eat
stuff.
this. Yeah, you could eat
Oh,
the
my
stuff apparently.
Oh,
Oh man.
that
Oh,
doesn't sound good.
See, this is what I was talking about. Jeremy was going to say like methamphetamine.
No.
Here,
Oh,
I'll type it. Here, I'll
If that
type
were
it out
true,
for
the
you
Blob
guys.
wouldn't be alive. Everyone would have eaten him.
yep.
See, here it is.
With the cell. Oh, okay.
Methocel, yeah.
Methocel.
Not methamphetamine.
Jesus.
But yeah, apparently you use this stuff for milkshakes.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
It makes
Yep.
it like that texture, maybe, I guess. I don't
Hey,
know.
Jill, you know what? I just realized something. That might be something that they probably use at Starbucks.
No,
Yeah.
there's coffee in there.
Yeah, but they got the frappuccinos though.
That's ice.
Oh man.
Yum. Chantel.
Jeremy, I typed it down for you.
Metha what?
See, I knew this.
Talk
was
about
gonna-
meth
I
on the
knew-
show.
I literally knew. See, this is
This
glad I
is-
said it. And I typed it in because I know someone was going to say crystal meth.
Yeah, we're getting demonetized.
Uh-oh. Just because he couldn't pronounce the word.
Oh.
I think we're gonna be ending the show here. Yeah, like I've had so much fun talking about this film.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
It's a good movie. It was fun.
Yes, this has been great. So yeah, everybody be sure to tune in next week.
Oh.
What?
I just want to make the announcements for the other shows later this week.
Okay.
So for Wednesday, well, I'm gonna have one more week off before I hopefully get the Nick Files back on. Because again, with all the holidays and stuff, it was really hard for me to try to make my slideshows, but I'm starting to get back into creating them slowly but surely. So there is no Nick Files once again for this week, but I should be back real soon. I was talking with Lois and Rosie earlier today. I don't think we're going to be doing criminals and villains either. I know Lois told me that we're bringing that back next week. So we'll be back with that next week. I don't know who we're going to be talking about. And then, of course, Supernatural Talk will be on. Oh, and yes, and also to add, because Jeremy just commented, and then starting tomorrow, too, the debut show of the wrestling show with Jeremy and Donald. That ought to be a great show.
And 13th
Jeremy,
Dimension?
what's that?
And 13th Dimension coming
Yeah,
up.
Jeremy's bringing back 13th Dimension. I know originally he was going to be doing that last week because he wanted to have that as like an open mic. Unfortunately, he was sick at the time, so he won't be doing that. He wasn't able to do that, but he should be having it on this Friday. And then Jeremy, remind me of the time of when the wrestling show begins. And yes, this. And for Supernatural Talk, Kathy Hahn, I think if I'm saying that right, and Tiffany Minnick, organizers of Fort Wayne Paracon, will be on. And yes, Ricky, Ricky on will be on 13th Dimension. The guy who started everything with Corn with me. He's the guy who gave birth to the name Nick of the Corn. I even asked Jeremy, you guys going to talk about Cord? But no, he's going to have a serious. They're going to have a serious conversation.
He's gonna do a deep dive on Ricky Hellard.
we got
You don't like that? Did it come out wrong? I mean, you know, questioning.
I was not expecting that.
You made me blush.
8 p.m. Eastern on the wrestling show. So 7 o'clock here. And yes, we all love Ricky. And
Yeah,
the
we're
corn
gonna
that
get
he,
to know
and the
Ricky.
corn that he grew. We got to have Ricky on this show at some point too. Don, you got to meet Ricky.
Yeah, bring him on. I would love them on here. Have him on here.
Jill can make a new creep show.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
Oh, it's a video. Okay. and finally, we are going to be back this Friday with the Frighteners on the Simply Spooky Network. So looking forward to seeing Lois, Vivian, Dan, Ian, Bry. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot of fun. Oh, what's this? Are there any movies featuring killer horses? Chantel could be a guest.
Oh my God.
I'll think of something.
Know of any?
None that I can think of.
Well,
any killer unicorns? Do those count?
well, you know what? The only movie I can think of that actually deals with an evil horse is not really the horse itself. There is the Legend of Sleepy Hollow.
Sleepy Hollow
deals with the headless horseman.
There you go. Have her on that one.
Yep, and the star of that is actually like in the movie that we're going to be discussing next week on FearFans. I decided it's time we got into Nightmare on Elm Street.
Freddy.
That's right, yeah.
Yep, I feel like that's long overdue.
One final thing, Don. Just tell Jill and everybody else what you finally showed me on New Year's. Tell her, because you were always talking about me watching this. Tell Jill and everyone else what you showed me recently.
The first 4 episodes of Wednesday.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
We watched them all in a heartbeat. We're already halfway there.
We watched the first episode and Nick was already hooked. And
I was gonna say, are you a fan now?
You know I am.
So we binged a few episodes before the countdown.
Pukas and Irish lore. Jeremy's like, Chantel's like, Jeremy, no, any evil is cause of humans or worse, not by the unicorns.
Already seen Wednesday. Yeah. So Sarah, I guess we'll have to have you on for like when we go do an episode focusing on Wednesday.
Jill's probably gonna have to come back on that one too, because you said you've already seen Wednesday, right?
It'll be a great episode. Yes. Like there's so much I want to talk about on there. Oh man, I can't wait.
Okay, hold my beer then.
We're gonna have several people on for that episode.
Oh, she's all for it.
All right.
Yeah, there you
You
go.
know what? I just realized something. I mean, I know she doesn't have a profile pic, but it might be our first time that we may actually not only speak to her, but might even see her for the first time.
That would be awesome, Sarah. You need to come on for that one.
I just saw from the reaction, looked like Ava was watching a little while ago, Don. On the heart reaction, that's Ava.
Oh, yeah. I think let me pull up the Facebook.
Heart.
Oh yeah, she is.
Heart to you.
Oh, Sarah says unlikely. Okay, so the way she's probably going to be coming on, but probably won't be on camera with us.
Oh, hey, whatever you want, Sarah. Yeah,
It's up to you, Sarah.
It could be just the microphone, and that's fine. It's totally your call.
But yeah, that's pretty much all the announcements I have. So, yeah,
Lots of shows coming.
Yes.
a lot of stuff coming.
Oh yeah, can't wait. And at some point, we're gonna get into horror video games too, like such as Resident Evil. You know, I can't wait for that.
Which I already told you, Don. Steam was selling their horror survival games for a really cheap price. I was able to finally get it because I had one. Which ones do I have? I have my library I got is I had for the longest time I had 1, 2, 4, and then 0 apparently, and the Resistance. And then finally, after like an entire year when they had a sale, I finally got Resident Evil 3.
Oh yeah, that's where you get to face the one video game character I was ever afraid of as a kid, Nemesis.
And yes, Phasmophobia. Brad, we're gonna need to talk about that at some point.
The video game gave me nightmares.
Definitely.
You know what? Actually, I'm just gonna say this right now. Just it was 2 nights ago that Donald and I'm actually, we'll talk more about this backstage, but I'll say this for now. It was 2 nights ago. Donald and I played a game together on Steam. It was the game 7 Days to Die.
Oh.
Really good game. It is scary as hell. You don't expect the zombies. And we're hoping that we can get you guys on this too, because we can make a whole team on Steam.
Nice.
About 15 to 20 hands printed out to sell so far. Oh my god.
You used your 3D printer to make thing?
Hands?
Yeah, hands. Yeah.
Yeah, the hand. Thing.
Yeah,
like
the hand.
Haven't anything of Wednesday except for people mimicking I'm sure.
Oh yeah, that's one of the highlights of it now. And
yeah,
I think that Jenna Ortega choreographed that whole dance is just phenomenal.
Well, I should tell. Have fun feeding your unicorn. There is a new Resident Evil movie coming out.
I think there already was one.
Oh, yep. Chantel's reopened her Steam and she's bought Phasmophobia. Okay, we got to do a night where we play Phasmophobia and stream it. What's this?
Oh, the song from the original film.
No, I don't know who this is, though. Sticks Toy 73 Comics and Toy Sales. That's a new person.
No, I never heard of them.
I'm not surprised that she took a lot of that from Thriller. And she also says Wednesday could have been darker. Well,
Tim Burton. I mean, it's pretty about as dark as you can get with Tim Burton.
Well, if you think about it, because you told me that they're supposed to make another season. I'm sure that you never know. They might make the next season even darker.
She's wait.
Dark enough in the beginning.
You're on level 1200 plus on Phasmo.
Yep.
All right, we're gonna need to talk at some point because Donald and I are trying to set something up. Let's talk. Oh, Sarah said season 2 got approved for Wednesday, so we got season 2 coming.
All right. Nice.
Awesome.
That's the reference. Yes, I did. Yes, I did, Stick Boys. I got the reference. All right, so we're going to end the episode here. Thank you guys for watching, and be sure to tune in next week when we look at Nightmare on Elm Street. I cannot wait. I'm super psyched about it. So thank you, Jill, for joining us again.
Thank you, everyone.
Always fun having you on. So until next week, have a good night, everybody. Bye.
Good night.